January 7th, 2026, pre-dawn darkness in the North Atlantic between Scotland and Iceland. Navy SEALs descend from helicopters onto a moving oil tanker. The ship has been running for 2 weeks straight. It crossed an entire ocean trying to escape. American forces have been tracking every movement. Stay to discover the sophisticated surveillance network that made this impossible chase successful. December 20th, 2025. The oil tanker Bella 1 approaches Venezuelan waters. The US Coast Guard cutter Monroe positions to intercept with orders to seize the vessel under federal warrant. But when the warship closes in, the tanker's crew makes a split-second decision. They ignore all radio calls and run at full speed into the open Atlantic. The moment Bella 1 turns away, the tracking operation begins. The Coast Guard cutter Monroe, a 418-foot Legend-class vessel equipped with long-range sensors and satellite communications, immediately pursues. But tracking a ship across thousands of miles of ocean requires more than one surface vessel. The US activates a multi-layered surveillance network. First layer, satellite surveillance. US intelligence satellites equipped with synthetic aperture radar begin tracking the tanker from space. These satellites can see through clouds and darkness, identifying ships by their size, shape, and heat signature. Even when the tanker tries to blend with other maritime traffic, the satellites maintain a lock. Second layer, maritime patrol aircraft. Within 24 hours, P-8 Poseidon aircraft deploy from multiple locations. These Boeing 737-based patrol planes carry advanced AN/APY-10 radar systems capable of detecting and tracking surface vessels from hundreds of miles away. The P-8s can stay airborne for extended periods, flying search patterns that keep the tanker under constant observation. As the tanker flees northeast across the Atlantic, the crew attempts evasion. On December 24th, they paint over the name Bella 1 and paint a massive Russian flag on the hull. They're trying to change the ship's identity mid-ocean. Russia grants temporary flag status, renaming it Marinera. But changing a name and flag doesn't break the tracking lock. The third layer activates. Signals intelligence. The tanker needs to communicate with shore, receive weather updates, coordinate with potential destinations. Every electronic emission is monitored. The ship's satellite phone calls, radio transmissions, even its internet usage, if any, all create an electronic signature that intelligence agencies track. The Monroe follows through winter storms in the North Atlantic. The crew maintains visual and radar contact when possible, but even when weather forces them to increase distance, they know exactly where the tanker is because of the overhead surveillance network. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem later describes the Coast Guard crew keeping diligent watch through treacherous storms for 2 straight weeks. By late December, the tanker heads north past the United Kingdom coast, moving toward the gap between Scotland and Iceland. This is thousands of miles from Venezuela. The crew likely believes distance will save them. But distance doesn't matter when satellites and aircraft can track from above. January 2nd and 3rd, flight tracking data shows increased activity. Multiple USP-8 Poseidon aircraft operate from RAF Mildenhall in England. KC-135 Stratotanker aerial refueling aircraft deploy to support extended patrol missions. C-130J Super Hercules transport planes move personnel and equipment. U-28A Special Operations aircraft designed for intelligence gathering join the surveillance network. The UK provides operational support, granting access to bases and airspace. On January 6th, just 1 day before the seizure, open-source ship tracking shows a P-8 Poseidon flying a precise search pattern over the exact area where Marinera is transiting. The surveillance is so accurate that independent observers can track the operation in real time using publicly available flight data. Behind this visible activity, a fourth layer operates invisibly: human intelligence. Sources track the tanker's fuel status, crew morale, potential destination ports. Every piece of information feeds into a complete operational picture. By January 6th, intelligence indicates the tanker is running out of options. It can't refuel at sea without specialized equipment. Most ports won't accept a sanctioned vessel. The crew is exhausted from 2 weeks at sea under pursuit. Russian naval assets, including a reported submarine, move into the area, but US planners assess they won't physically intervene. The decision is made to seize the vessel. The 161st Special Operations Aviation Regiment, the Night Stalkers who captured Maduro days earlier, deploy to the United Kingdom. Navy SEALs from an East Coast-based team prepare for the boarding operation. The helicopters they'll use, MH-6 Little Birds, are small and agile, perfect for shipboard operations but with limited range. They'll need to launch from a ship or shore location close to the target. January 7th, early morning hours. The surveillance network provides exact coordinates, weather conditions, sea state, the tanker's course and speed, everything the assault team needs. Multiple aircraft are airborne, providing real-time updates. The Monroe maintains position nearby. Before dawn, MH-6 helicopters lift off and fly toward the tanker. The pilots use night vision systems to navigate through darkness and fog. Russian broadcaster RT later obtains exclusive footage from the tanker showing the moment of approach. The helicopter emerges from fog, rotors beating. The Coast Guard cutter Monroe is visible in the distance, having followed the tanker for 2 solid weeks. The SEALs fast rope onto the moving deck. This is an inherently dangerous maneuver, dropping onto a ship in open ocean in winter conditions. But they've trained for this exact scenario countless times. The moment they touch down, they move with precision, covering angles, clearing spaces. Within minutes, they control the bridge, the engine room, all critical areas. The crew offers no resistance. They've been tracked for 2 weeks, chased across an ocean, and now elite American forces are on their deck. It's over. The Russian submarine reportedly nearby takes no action. Surface vessels don't intervene. The tracking and surveillance network that followed this tanker for 5,000 miles has now delivered it into American custody. But the operation isn't finished. At almost the exact same moment, thousands of miles south in the Caribbean, the same surveillance network has been tracking another tanker, the MT Sophia. The same layered approach: satellites, patrol aircraft, signals intelligence, human sources. US Southern Command coordinates the second seizure. Helicopters approach in darkness. Homeland Security later releases dramatic video footage showing personnel fast roping onto the deck. Another successful boarding. 2 tankers, 2 separate oceans, both tracked continuously, both seized in coordinated pre-dawn operations on the same morning. The surveillance network that made this possible represents decades of investment in space-based sensors, maritime patrol aircraft, signals intelligence capabilities, and international cooperation. Here's what made the tracking successful. Satellite coverage provided continuous surveillance regardless of weather or time of day. No gaps in observation. Maritime patrol aircraft like the P-8 Poseidon offered detailed tracking with advanced radar and sensors, staying airborne for extended periods. The Coast Guard cutter Monroe maintained physical pursuit, ensuring a surface presence that prevented the tanker from attempting dangerous maneuvers or trying to offload cargo. International cooperation, specifically with the United Kingdom, provided forward operating locations for aircraft and coordination for operations near UK waters. Signals intelligence monitored all electronic emissions from the vessel, building a complete picture of communications and intentions. Human intelligence sources provided context about crew status, fuel levels, and potential destinations. Multi-domain integration meant all these systems fed information into a single operational picture updated in real time. The technology involved is sophisticated but not science fiction. Synthetic aperture radar satellites can identify specific vessels by their radar signature. Modern maritime patrol aircraft carry sensor suites that detect ships far beyond visual range. Automatic identification system transponders, which ships use for collision avoidance, broadcast position data. Even when a ship turns off its transponder, radar and infrared signatures still reveal its location. The Marinera and MT Sophia are now being escorted to the United States. The 2-week pursuit is over, but the surveillance network continues operating, tracking other vessels, monitoring maritime traffic, identifying potential sanctions violations. This operation demonstrated the capability to track and seize vessels anywhere in the world's oceans, regardless of how far they run or what flag they claim. From the moment Bella 1 refused to stop on December 20th, it was being tracked by some of the most sophisticated surveillance systems in the world. The crew's attempt to escape by crossing the Atlantic, changing names, painting a new flag, none of it mattered. The satellites above, the aircraft in the sky, the warship on the horizon, and the intelligence network behind them made escape impossible. 2 weeks and 5,000 miles later, Navy SEALs were on the deck. This is how US forces tracked and seized a fleeing oil tanker across the Atlantic Ocean, a surveillance network that sees everything, technology that works day and night through any weather, international cooperation that provides global reach, and special operations forces that execute the final boarding with precision, the operation that happened yesterday morning, ending a chase that spanned an entire ocean.